Well, Daredevil. There's rumors that we could be seeing him in Spider-Man 3. Now, this comes kind of off the heels of Kevin Feige talking about the Netflix characters and that there's some interest there. Obviously, there's characters that he would want to use, and it's Marvel Studios. And now that they're going to go under, new ownership, which will be pure Marvel, no Netflix, like who will be able to bring them back? The synergy between the two will be easier than ever. So Daredevil kind of would make sense, I think.
Yeah. I mean, given the context of it, someone might need a lawyer.
Exactly.
I think Peter's going to need a lawyer.
He needs one.
Yep. Places are going to try and sue him for, what is it?
A lot of damages.
Yeah, a lot of damages. Even though he saved their lives.
Well, I can tell you right now, Parker, London Bridge ain't cheap. So.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That wasn't his fault, though. But they're going to blame him.
So, okay, this is the thing I want to talk about, which I've seen many people discuss. How do you bring in Daredevil if somebody hasn't seen the show, which clearly the crowd is massively bigger for the films than they are on the TV shows? And I understand that complaint, but the thing is, you can introduce the character and still tell his story and the basics of who he is without having to, have Matt Murdock sit in front of a camera in a confessional for 15 minutes being like, so I fought this guy and goddamn Turk every time. Like, you don't need that. It's up to smart writers, and if Kevin Feige can figure it out, because God knows he can, they can introduce Matt Murdock in a simple way.
Let's be honest, they don't care if people haven't. At this point, it's been 10 years and 3,000 hours.
Right.
If you haven't seen everything, it's your own fault. You don't need to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
just go in.
Yeah, it's going to be honestly really easy. We just joked Peter's going to need a lawyer. He's, if anything, he's a lawyer for heroes. So he's going to sit there and he's going to be the first one knocking on their door, being like, hey, you need somebody to help you.
And there is that factor, and people are going to be like, I've seen people be like, how's Peter going to afford a lawyer? I was like, have you watched the Netflix shows? Like, they literally do work for free.
I was just going to use that argument in different context.
Right, like, these dudes will work literally for nothing just to prove the innocence of someone because he knows. Like, it perfectly fits in. They're there. Now, the only thing, and this is the one that people want to talk about, and this is the interesting one, they won't be able to use Daredevil if Sony sticks to the same schedule and the next film comes in 2 years. But if it's 3 years away, yeah.
Here's the thing. You don't know what Marvel TV are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, they might have to wait 2 years, but do you think they're going to sit there and deliberately wait 2 years? Or do you think they're going to try and get him out of it?
Right.
Like, I know people don't want to believe that they're trying, but why wouldn't they try? Everything they've said since the cancellations points to, we're trying. Remember when the lawyers came out and told Disney not to even try? Like, they're trying.
Yeah.
Like, they're clearly, either they've made Netflix an offer or they're going to make Netflix an offer. Like, it doesn't even necessarily say that he's definitely going to be in this, but like, it doesn't have to be a 2-year wait. They could get him out before Christmas.
Definitely.
Like, and people saying She-Hulk, like, I think She-Hulk might be too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's a good lawyer, like Matt isn't. So
it's really interesting because you also have to look at it at when is his contract fully up, because they're saying like it's 2 years once the show aired. Okay, so
that would
they
be
could get others
December.
at different times.
that would be 2020.
Yeah, so next December would be when it's up. So
then that's perfect time. It would work.
It depends
it's a tricky one because obviously when's the Spider movie going to come out? It's going to come out around now.
Yeah.
So if they get him out, say like when did Daredevil season 3 come out?
December it came out, it came out in November and was canceled in December.
Yeah, so like if they get him out by November, then the movie's already filmed, it's shot, it's in editing. Like that would be 2 days. That's probably why they're trying. Like I imagine they're trying to get him out of it now.
I could understand maybe waiting the year and buying him out for the second year. Like talking to them, or maybe even coming out to some sort of agreement with the characters. Because being real, I think Daredevil's the one that people want. And maybe even Kingpin could work in there. That'd be a really good get. But, yeah, it's...
Charlie Cox is also I think he might not be the only one. He has a movie contract in his deal.
Right. Yep.
So does that factor into it? Because that's a bit of a loophole. It's like,
because that's the thing where if you look back on the details when I think it was 2012 when they announced the deal for the Marvel Netflix shows, maybe 2013, I can't remember the exact date.
I would say it was one of those. It was around then.
Because they announced that at New York Comic Con because it was a huge deal. Bob Iger to investors, the following investors call, said that these characters have a future with the Marvel Studios side of things, and they look to bring them to the films. So clearly, some things got a little bit changed up in there, but I definitely think that Daredevil is the one they would want, considering he's the most consistently received out of all the Netflix stuff, and he's the one that makes the most amount of sense. So
I also wonder if, because of the fact that they already were talking about having them in the movie side, if the movie side was a different contract. So that's why we can have Spider-Man, or we can have Daredevil in Spider-Man 3, because it's a movie, not a new TV series based on just him.
Right. It's like, how did they...
I mean, it depends how they did the contract originally. Like, if part of the reason why Cox signed on was because he wanted the movie and they said yes, it'll be part of the same contract.
Right.
It wouldn't be like, oh, I've signed a TV deal, but I want to be in the movie, let me sign a movie contract.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would all be part of the same one.
And the hard part for people to understand is Netflix got these shows because Disney was willing to give them a few sacrifices to see what the demand on these shows was and if they could push their own streaming service. And yes, that was a partial mistake, but that was a partial decision to make that, contract in Netflix's favor because they wanted that data. So
it's necessary collateral.
It was. It really was. And now that by when was Jessica Jones and Punisher canceled? January this year, I think.
Around that time, yeah.
So 2 years from now, so a year and I don't know, 8 months, when that comes up, when every character is free, Hulu, which is majority now owned by Disney, Fox, and everything, if these characters go there, there's no more divide between Marvel TV and Marvel films because they're all under the same roof. There's no in-between people like Netflix. There's no weird discussions that they can have. They can literally just talk to one another more freely, which before that was prevented.
You're gonna get a lot more crossover.
Oh god, yeah.
A lot more.
And they even stated the future is everything.
Right, everything kind of making sense. And you can now see why when the rumors popped up of Ghost Rider series on Netflix, why Disney and ABC were like, yeah, we know your guys are going to cancel our stuff, so we're not doing that right away. Because those rumors were there way back when Reyes was confirmed for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I was going to say, they cast Gabriel Looney, who's basically straight away going, oh yeah, there's talks of a Ghost Rider show. It's give the game away. And of course, 4 years later, here we are.
It's slow and steady, but within the next 3 years, everything Marvel's going to be more connected than ever before. That's very apparent. It's how the things went, and I think Daredevil is going to be the first true show of...
I say, if they kick that off with Daredevil and Spider-Man as the first one, you instantly make everyone happy.
Yep. That's...
The problem you have then is can you get Spider-Man on the show?
Right.
Can we go that way as well?
Yeah, and how lenient is Sony going to want to be with that? That'd be a big thing, but...
I think with how good Far From Home's doing currently, where it's over $500 million, I think Sony's going to be pretty open to most things they do.
Anything Marvel suggests are going to be so, you haven't steered us wrong so far.
You made us our first billion with Spider-Man. What do you want to do next?
Right.
Can we put Venom in it?
No. Feige literally came out the other week and went no, that's theirs.
Yeah.
This is
no.
ours. It's not happening.
That clip of me looking concerned when Pascal says it'll happen, that's me telling you no.
It's they can do their own Spider-Man Venom movie. It ain't going to be Tom Holland. He is ours. He's contracted with us.
So, I mean, realistically, a year from now, we'll know more about Daredevil's future. That much is clear. TCA's next year.
Who knows? Maybe New York Comic Con something happens. Maybe San Diego Comic Con something happens. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
Because that'd be a real big reveal.
Oh my god. That it would.
with everything else they've got at Comic-Con, they just go, oh yeah, by the way, we got these back. Like,
They're
just
ours
a little
again.
cherry on top of everything. Like, here's Phase 4, we got them back. Like, boom.
Right. Hype. So we'll talk about that soon.